Hello, 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 welcome back. CheersKevin here, and we are in the land of terrible acoustics. I've just finished editing the first video of this series, and I'm recording this before it goes live, so I don't know what the reaction will be, but the audio, it's rough for me. So I think maybe some of the early focus is going to be finding, unpacking, and setting up better camera and audio gear so that it doesn't sound as much like garbage. It's still going to sound pretty bad in here until we actually get some treatment done. I have a lot of acoustic foam that I can put up in sort of areas. I don't want to put up too much that's going to be just temporary though, because then I'll have to patch the walls before I paint and everything. So what I have gotten in is dummy handles, or dummy levers rather. Handles, so you've got knobs and handles. These would be handles. I have a matched set that I bought. So if you're buying, for future reference, if you're buying door handles, generally you expect the door to have this big hole into which these two things can slot. And the door goes in between. And you can get different versions of this. One of them will have you can get ones with key locks, you can get ones with just the twist locks and the, whatever. But if you're relying on a door that doesn't actually latch or anything, well, then there's no hole in the door because there's no real reason to. There's no relationship between the inner handle and the outer handle. They don't twist together or anything. So, things just screw right on there. Now the one that the sort of half knobs that we had on the outside there, it was basically just this. It was this this metal plate that was screwed into the wall. I thought it was heavier, but it's not. And then a cover, and then the knobs that themselves were missing. I don't know why. It seems weird. Why, like if you're gonna take the knobs out, take the whole thing, but whatever. That's what they did for whatever reason. Dummy handles don't do that. They just screw right in. So it's got this one, and it does actually rotate. This whole thing will remain fixed, but it does have a little mechanism to allow it to rotate if you so care to, okay, that's fine. And then it has two screws. So how difficult can this be? We're gonna find out, I guess. Now, of course, brilliant person that I am, I managed to open the one that goes on this side, because you want it to be like that. So I gotta take this off, pop this cover off. Yeah, okay, so the handle has screws on the sides, we don't want vertical handles. So we're actually gonna need to drill new holes into this door. But I'm kind of nervous to do that because this door is not sitting flush, and that means that once we fix that, it's going to be, if we line them up now, then it'll be all set from where we want it to be. Okay, so as much as I thought we were at least going to get a tiny little thing done today, I don't think we are, because I need to figure out, I don't know how you adjust the door. I know that right now this one is sagging, and that's part of and it's also pulling in. And so if I line up the two handles so that they're at the same height, because I've got to drill new holes, if I line them up and they're at the same height, then when I fix the door, it's going to pop up and they're going to be off center. So I want to get the door hung correctly first. I'm going to have to do kind of a deep dive into the research of doors. I'm going to become a door scientist, figure out exactly how you do that, because I got to do that, and then we'll put the handles on. Stupid doors. That's frustrating, but at the very least, we put these acoustic panels back up. Right? Yeah. This I should be able to do without screwing up. We'll see. Get this up here. There we go. I'm gonna wind up wanting darker tiles. I may keep these tiles because they do deflect a lot of sound. It's hard to tell in here, honestly, right now, because of just the way that everything is. But I don't think the weight is gonna be what I ultimately want. I think that I'm going to end up painting the walls very, very dark, and so the white's going to be a little off, but we'll have to see. One thing actually I could do, and I have a bunch of stools that we're not really using, I could at least put them in the corners and set some bass traps on there, which maybe will cut down on some of the reflections. We'll see if it makes any sort of acoustic difference. Et voila. Okay, so I've put up the bass traps in 4 of the 5 corners of this room. Well, I mean, is that a conduit? Okay. I've put up sets of bass traps, 2 stacked on top of things. Which, is it helping? I can't tell. I think it's a little bit better. It's not the initial echoes. It feels like the echoes are falling off faster, which makes sense. Generally, corners of the room, you're cutting down on the reflections that are bouncing back and forth for long periods of time. I'm still getting some. There's still some tones I'm hearing that are, but I don't know. It's a start, and that corner is going to be particularly bad. I have a lot of acoustic foam, and I could just start throwing it all over the place, but I don't want to attach it to anything in a way that's going to be destructive. So, bummer though it may be. I mean, I guess I can at least swivel around. We'll take a look at where we're at. Can we focus, please? There we go. Pay attention. There we go. We've got that corner, and yeah, back there we don't have anything. So shame on us. Why are we not focusing? All right. Clearly, I do need to sort out the camera gear situation and microphone situation, but at least this is a tiny little bit of an improvement. I was really hoping I could get the doors on today, but I'm gonna have to figure out exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering if maybe it's a matter of if I loosen some of the hinges or shim some of the hinges, I can fix both the way that it's seated and the fact that it starts to pull in. Gonna have to experiment with that. But in the meantime, I think it's time to cut back over to planning because I really need to figure out what I'm gonna paint in here because I want to do that before I lay anything down for obvious reasons. And yeah, so I want to do that very soon. I changed my mind. I'm going for it. I mean, you can see here where it used to be, and I'm gonna say that's a reasonable enough guide. I did mess around trying to see if I could fix the door easily enough, but I can't. This is gonna go over here. It's gonna be centered. I'm gonna mark it with this Sharpie that I hope works. I don't know where my carpenter's pencil is. Bring that. You know what I should have checked? How long? This is almost the full length of the door. I wonder if we're gonna... No, at least we should avoid... I wonder if that's why these are the way they are, though. I wonder if these inner screws are side to side. Can I pull off on the inner handle? And maybe that's why they mounted the other one's vertical. I hope I don't end up butting up against the screw on the inside knob. We'll see. But I guess it is worth noting that if I were to put handles, if I wanted to replace these interior knobs, I would probably run into this issue and have to be wary of the screws ending up offset from each other. But hey, that one is on. That's better than, it's better than where we were at. It's not quite as level as I would like, but it is taking over the same, it's covering that shadow. So that's something. Let's do the other door. All right, moment of truth. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How do these line up? Let's see. Oof. So I did match the shadow. They are, yeah, as I suspected. It feels almost like this is thicker. Is that thicker? It's gotta be. Use my laser measure because I don't know where my tape measure is. Actually, that's not particularly helpful, is it? Okay, never mind. Okay. Well, this is about that. This is, yeah, these are definitely not the same. These aren't the same width. This width is different from this width. So there was no hope of getting them, the margins to equal anyway. These doors, this margin is different from this. Why did you do that? Why would you design the doors like this? Vertically though, they're close. They're close. gonna call this good. Job well done. We now have handles. We can enter and exit at our leisure. That's a stupid door. Once we get a catch on there, it'll be fun. All right, so as I mentioned, what I would like to do is get a sense of, hey, what color do I want to paint the walls? And in particular, I'm interested to know what that's going to look like with the laminate flooring that I'm going to be installing after I've painted. But the problem there is that's going to happen after I've painted. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a floor texture and throw it in our model, and then we can test it with a bunch of different interior colors and see, you know, what we like. But trying to do that inside SketchUp is a bit of a pain in the butt. So what we're going to do is I took a screenshot of just a bird's eye view with the ceiling removed in the model. And I'm going to scale this to, let's see, we can actually crop this down. Let's do a bad crop for now, and then we'll recrop it again, because I just want this floor plan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to size this to the millimeter. I'm going to say that a pixel is equivalent to a millimeter because, and of course, I don't know if this guideline is kind of factors in there, but that's okay. I guess as long as we're consistent in a direction, we're fine. If we say that, well, because the measurements that I have for the laminate are in millimeters, and this lets us get accurate without that whole 1/16 nonsense. So if we scale this, now of course I am just kind of taking a screenshot and trying to make this represent reality. So it is what it is, but we can in theory now scale this image to a certain pixel size under the assumption of millimeters. So the measurements that I have are that this length, this bottom length, is 19 feet, 10 inches, 10 and a 16th inches, and this is 17 feet, 7 and 7/16 inches. Let me convert those to millimeters, and then we will scale this up into a ridiculously stupid looking image. Okay, so the measurements that I have are as follows. Let's go ahead and we're going to scale this up to a much larger size, and we don't care that it's going to look ugly. We're just using it as kind of our layout. So for the width, it's 6046, and then it's 0.78, which I can't really do. So we're just going to go ahead and call it 6047 for the width, and the height, hopefully, this should be close. It's not quite, but oh well. The height with I converted, and I guess this is just coming down to the fact that we cut off some pixels here or there. The height that I got was 5370, so we're missing about 6 pixels. Let's go ahead and we'll tack those on to the bottom. 5370.5, so let's round that up to 0.1, or 5371. So that's fine. We'll let this thing spin. Of course, now it's trying to scale things nicely, and now we have this grossly exaggerated, stupid image, and that's fine. What is this? What happened? So when we scaled it beyond, oh, so it actually did try and scale to fill, I guess. All right, well that's fine. I mean, whatever, that works for me. Okay. So we could actually clean this up and leave it alone, but what I would like to do instead is to look at a second photo. I'll go ahead and save this. And I'm going to save this as a floor plan texture. Okay, so this is a 100 megabyte file. It doesn't need to be that way. It's preserving detail that it shouldn't actually be there. Let's look at another image. This is a photo that I took of just 4 pieces of the laminate, just kind of the 4 I pulled off the top. This one's a little iffy because it's kind of more in direct light than the other 3, but that's okay. What I want to do is basically take these 4, and we're going to use these to kind of develop our pattern. So I'm going to go to the crop tool. I'm going to go to perspective crop, and I want to, oops, actually, you know what I can do first? Okay, what did you just do? Okay. I can convert this to a smart object, and I'm going to create 4 more of these. So if I go layer, smart objects, new smart object via copy, and I'll do that 2 more times. Layer, smart object, new smart object via copy. And what I'm going to do is take all of these images and let's call this, I don't know, tile A, and we'll give them all labels. All right, so I'm going to go in here, and now we'll use this perspective crop tool, which I've kind of only just discovered, and it's great. It fixes exactly this problem. I knew there was a way to do this. I just haven't really played around with it before. I'm going to go ahead and just draw bit that I want. There is kind of the overlap here of because you have kind of the tongue and groove of the laminate. I just want the top pattern. What I'm telling it is, hey, I would like you to perspective crop this, that this thing that you're going to pull out should be a rectangle. And let's see if I need to make any adjustments. I suppose I could pull that out just a tiny bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll go with it and enter. Okay. And if we zoom out, there we go. Now we have one piece of vinyl. We may not use this one because of the washed out light there. That's okay. We'll go ahead and save that, pop back out here. And I'm going to do the same thing with tile B. Just going to go in with the perspective crop tool, pull out the pattern, and then we're going to eventually use all four smart objects to kind of virtually lay out our floor pattern in the same way that we'll eventually have to lay it out in the real world. All right, so now that I have these tiles, I'm actually going to go into them again and resize them to match the quote-unquote dimensions that I have here. So it's I'm reading off of here that these are 110, or sorry, they're 1210 millimeters tall and 155 millimeters wide. All right, and now I have a palette of 4 tiles that we should, in theory, be able to just transfer over. If I just duplicate layers, duplicate them over to the floor, and now we should have a bunch of things here that are hopefully to scale. Let's select one and just make sure, because I know I'd resize them outside of the smart object. So what are we looking at? The height, oh, it's in percentages. Show me pixels, please. Yep, 1210 and 155. That's what we want. We can go back to percent because it's easy to then adjust things. But hey, these things are, okay, cancel, whatever. Whatever. These tiles are to scale, so we can start just laying these out. And I'm going to do exactly that. Actually, if I select all of these, I can rotate them 90 degrees, which is what I'm going to want to do. And sure, let's take tile A and start moving it down. Move it down to the bottom here. And I'm going to start laying these out as though we're doing our proper flooring. So, okay, I like that layer. I'm going to, yeah, let's go ahead and just put those in a group. Yep, there we go. And now I'm just going to create another group. We're not going to create too many layers, but Control D, we'll put that in group 1. And yeah, okay, I should have thought about this first. And hitting Control J, or Command J on the Mac, to duplicate these layers. There we go. Okay. And then we'll start moving these around. So we got one there. Not going to start with the same one. So let's... Boy, this is a lot easier on here than I'm sure it's going to be later on. We actually have to do the thing for real. So, you know, enjoy it while we can, I suppose. Yeah. There we go. Now, of course, we are losing a little bit of what we might expect to see. We've got, yeah, no. Don't like that. Let's turn on auto select. Oh, no. It's selecting them all together. Fine, whatever. No, oh, there we go. Auto select layer. That's what I want. Yeah, I don't want to use that same one because we've got that whole issue of color highlighting, which makes this look a little less correct, but oh well. I suppose we can rotate this 90 degrees, which I suppose strictly speaking isn't accurate, but that's fine. And let's just copy another one. I'll copy that and move. Oops, right, I've got auto select on now. This one, copy and then move that over to here. All right, now we don't have any duplicates, which I like. Although, in practice, we probably want this whole set offset by some amount. Yeah, so let's copy another thing and move that over to there. There we go. That's looking more like what our flooring will eventually look like. So I'm going to continue along here and build up maybe another layer or two. And then once we've done that, I can go ahead and just start copying groups and shift up. Actually, you know, I can probably start doing that now. If we have some of these here like that. All right, so I've been trying to stagger these. It's very clear that the highlighting is bleh. But hey, whatever. I'm going to throw all of these into a folder. And I'm hoping that if I duplicate this group, now, if I stagger this out, you see I've got some very jagged edges here. I should be able to stagger this by at least a little bit, one would hope. Something like this. I mean, I suppose I don't even have to stagger it at all. It already is staggered. And then we'll just continue to do that. Duplicate that up a little bit. Now, of course, I am covering up the edge, I realize. We'll fix that now. So if I double-click this to make it not a background layer, we'll throw it up at the very top. And let's just make a selection, I guess. Let's, yeah, sure, everything in here. Whoop, why, what? Oh, I threw it into the group somehow. Didn't mean to do that. Above the group, please. Thank you. All right, and everything in here, I would like to select. And if I group all of these, can I add a clipping mask to a group? I think that I can. Let's try it. Boom. That's not what I wanted. I want to invert that mask. Control-Shift-I, and then mask it. What have I done? Where is this? Oh, right. No, that's correct. So I don't even need to move this layer. That's what's going on. All right, yeah, let's add the clipping mask to the group, and there we go. So there is our floor and the remnants of this wall here. We'll go ahead and save this out and then throw it into SketchUp and see what it looks like. All right, so from within SketchUp, and I apologize for kind of the weird glitchiness. I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from. First thing we need to do, we're looking at a bird's eye view. First thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move these ceiling entities into a different layer. So we need to add a layer. Where can I add layers? Outliner layers. Let's create one. We're going to call it ceiling so that we can hide that. Let's go ahead and throw this into ceiling. And then if oh no, is this me adjusting current layer? Yeah, okay, perfect. Let's take you, put you also into ceiling, and you, and you, and you, all of you into ceiling. So now I should be able to toggle the ceiling on and off, which is exactly what I want for navigating around this wonderful place. Okay. So next we need to drag in some materials. So if we go entity info here, default material, we're going to go ahead and upload it. I forget how to do this. Let me remember. Right. Okay. Silly me. I need to insert a file. So let's go ahead and grab that. And I think I want to just insert it as an image. I suppose we could try inserting it as a material, but I think that's going to end up causing a lot of misery and pain. And that was probably not a good idea. Okay. It seemed okay with that. All right. Let's adjust that. Texture position. This is what I want to do. I want to adjust the position of the texture. And if I hold, if I hold shift, I can just drag these to exactly where I want. And this is going to look weird, but all we're doing is we're telling it to skew to a given position. And this one, I guess, yes, skew to there. And then hit enter, and boom, we are done. We have our texture in our model. And I gotta wake up my my mouse with the scroll wheel. And if we now wanted to take a look here, now we can see vaguely what things are going to look like once we get flooring down. Now, of course, there's no height to it. We could actually put a height on it, but that is not too shabby. I'm excited to see what this is. I'm just excited to see it in real life. We can also go ahead and, if we want to, I guess we can use the paint bucket tool.
Ooh, what's this? Oh no, that's just all right. That's just getting a sense of. Let's. Oh, Josh Hare, thank you for that. That's no. Keep what you did. No. Redo. Ah. Okay, I got this back to normal. We'll go ahead and just paint, I guess, I don't know, some random texture. Josh Shirt 2. If we were to paint the inside of the studio that color, that's vaguely what it would look like. I mean, very vaguely, but we can at least get a sense of these colors and how they're going to play together. Of course, it's not helping that I've got that select. Let me unselect. There we go. Yeah, we can at least get a sense of how this is going to look. I'm excited with the progress that we've made thus far. I think we're definitely looking at something that's going to be a little bit more of a darker gray. I'm curious as to see what can we get carbon. Okay, so fabric wallpaper. Yeah, so plain colors we don't seem to get, which is kind of a bummer. Because it feels like that would be an easy, lazy way to do it. So we'll probably have to make a very small texture file of just a particular color, once we've started looking at particular colors. But if we wanted to see what things would look like with, I guess, some wallpaper, let's try this. I don't know. Sure, this. And if we rotate ourselves around, this is what it would look like if we had this gray chalky thing. So that's something to consider. Anyway, I think we've made good progress for this session. So I will call it there. That's going to do it for me. And I hope you've enjoyed this process. We'll see where we're looking come next time. And I'll speak with you soon. Cheers.